he goes and says that, and everyone just overreacting. Like, why is he reading the comments? He's big. He shouldn't let this stuff get to him, things like that. And I'm just like, what is wrong with Jon Anik saying, like, the comments are toxic, they're going to drive me out? If that's how you feel, and that's how the comments and negativity feels, like, makes you feel, like, what is wrong with that? We all know Jon Anik's not going anywhere tomorrow, next year, the year probably after that. We'll see Jon Anik commentate for the UFC for at least 2 more years, probably much longer than that. That's how it's going to be, and that's that. And he knows that. We know that. There's no comments or things like that are going to drive him away. He was expressing emotion. I'm not even thinking. I know he was expressing emotion and being emotional about the situation. But I'm like, guys, he's a fucking human being. He has emotions. He has feelings too. Like, no one wants to see this negativity all the fucking time. Hey guys, welcome to the False Line Podcast here with episode 194. This is your host, Alvaro. Hey guys, how we doing? All right, no UFC this weekend, at least not that I know of. There might have been UFC Fight Night, but I don't think so. I don't think there was much going on. There was a little bit of boxing, but, not really aware of the boxers. So today's episode is going to be nice and short. It's going to be just like UFC news, topics, things going on, and slightly a little bit of boxing towards the end. And that'll be 194. So, Jon Anik has said some things on a podcast. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Conor McGregor. We're going to talk about Usman and Paulo Costa. And, some really just more UFC 300 news as well. So let's get right into it with the Jon Anik drama, you could say. So he went on the podcast, I think it was like Monday or Tuesday, and he was basically talking about the negativity, I guess, in the comments about him and his commentary, things like that. And he made some comments about, like, they're going to drive me out of it. They're going to force me out. Like, it's just too negative, too toxic, things like that. And I'm kind of happy that he said something, and I'm not happy that he apologized for it. But I'm happy he said something. And also, too, the other thing is a lot of people took that way too serious. And that's what I'll start off with this. And then I'll say why I'm happy about why he said that. Social media is getting very, very weird, very toxic, and just negative in general, right? So he goes and says that, and everyone just overreacting. Like, why is he reading the comments? He's big. He shouldn't let this stuff get to him, things like that. And I'm just like, what is wrong with Jon Anik saying, like, the comments are toxic, they're going to drive me out? If that's how you feel, and that's how the comments and negativity feels, like, makes you feel, like, what is wrong with that? We all know Jon Anik's not going anywhere tomorrow, next year, the year probably after that. We'll see Jon Anik commentate for the UFC for at least 2 more years, and probably much longer than that. Like, that's how it's going to be, and that's that. And he knows that. We know that. There's no comments or things like that are going to drive him away. I think he was expressing emotion. I'm not even thinking. I know he was expressing emotion and being emotional about the situation. But I'm like, guys, he's a fucking human being. He has emotions. He has feelings too. Like, no one wants to see this negativity all the fucking time, And it kind of sucks that how everyone overreacted about it and made it a big deal. I'm like, the dude's fucking human being. He has feelings, and there's nothing wrong with him expressing himself on a podcast and calling out the negative comments, And I've been real vocal about that the last few months, about the negativity on YouTube, Twitter, and things like that in the comments for me. So it's kind of weird how people made it a big deal, because it wasn't that serious, and he went out and apologized. And people calling him like, oh, he's just like a yes man. He does what he's told, things like that. And I'm like, bro, Jon Anik's been in the UFC for a long time. He's a fucking legend for the UFC. So, we got to respect him more and just appreciate him while we have him, because he's been there from the beginning. So kind of shitty how people overreacted. And on top of that, on his commentary and people, calling him out, as fans, as, for them as commentators, people that they look at the sport like on a daily basis. They do interviews with these fighters, things like that. I go back to he's a human. He has feelings. He has emotions. He views these fighters, the fights in a different way as we all do as people, as fans of the sport. You know, when I say that Drake wasn't going to win, when I say that Volk's going to beat Leah, when I say Islam's not that guy, like that's my perspective and that's my viewpoint. Obviously, I don't get paid from the UFC. I'm not a professional, things like that. And Jon Anik is. I've never felt like the commentary's been really biased and really outrageous. Don't get me wrong. There's been moments where it has been really biased and it's kind of ridiculous sometimes. But for the most part, they're fucking amazing. You know, like the commentary team with him and Rogan and whoever else is that third person, you know, most of the time it's DC. But Jon Anik's always there. And their commentary, like I don't ever think that the commentary is ridiculous. You know, I watch football, I watch soccer. I can't watch certain channels because of the commentary team. You know, when you look at the UFC, at least I feel like I'm never like, what the fuck are they watching? You know, I'm never like that. Sometimes I am, you know, and they were very leaning towards Drake's. And I have mixed emotions about that too. I don't know if they were told to kind of praise Drake's more. I don't know if they thought Drake's was, you know, being there and watching the fight, if they felt like Drake's was doing more. So I understand why a lot of people were upset with maybe his commentary from people like me who saw and thought that Sean won. But I'm not sitting there fucking on Jon Anik's ass like, hey, yours the reason, like you were wrong, da-da-da-da. No. If Sean Strickland would have fought a better fight and made it more clear, we wouldn't have these problems. So to me, it all comes down just to the fighter, and we shouldn't be mad at like the commentary. We shouldn't be mad at the scorecard and the judges. Like we shouldn't be mad of any of that, you know. So it's kind of ridiculous, man. And it's getting, and like I said, I'm happy he said something about the toxicity because it's just getting way out of hand now. Like it's fucking ridiculous. People are making fucking videos about how UFC 300 is bad and reacting to these fights. And I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what is this content, bro? You know, how you going to make UFC content, but then you're going to shit on the UFC card? How you going to make Twitter posts and your MMA page and you're going to shit on a fighter? It makes no sense to me. I get on fighters' ass. I say this, but I am not I get on Islam Makhachev's ass all the time. But is he number one pound for pound? No question. No fucking question, bro. It's the truth. You know, if people talking all this shit about, you know, on Izzy, on Twitter, on YouTube, the man has, 11 title fights? Like, come on, bro. Like, let's be fucking real. Let's be honest. Let's stop chasing these headlines and stop making social media so fucking toxic with this MMA bullshit. You know, we're all just fans of the sport. We just care about it. We're fans, and we have our guys, our favorite fighters, and we follow them, and we root for them, and we want them to win. But never to the point where, oh, Jon Anik's commentary sucks. Joe Rogan, he's so biased. The judges are robbing the fight. Like, the fuck's that all about? Hey, man, I think they robbed Sean. It is what it is, man. Let's fucking drink a beer. Who fucking cares? Who cares? And man, and this is what I love about making content, right? I see the comments. They say, what the fuck does this guy know? This guy, he can't even pronounce names. I don't give a shit, bro. I don't care. If I don't know how to mispronounce the name, I'm not here to be Mr. Correct. I don't want to be right. I don't care about all that. I enjoy fighting. And I want to talk about why I enjoy it. I want to give my my thoughts about a fighter, about this drama shit going on, whatever's going on at the time. Like that, I want to talk about all that and just have a good fucking time. That's it. I don't want to be right. I don't want to have the most followers. I don't want to be pronouncing all of these, the whole UFC roster's name right. Chandler, Poirier. I don't care. You know? And I really hope, you know, the people that do watch this and enjoy my content have this same approach, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, after Saturday, Sunday, I got to go to fucking work. I got to make more content. I got to edit. I got to work out. I don't got time to get caught up on this negativity. I don't got time to think about Jon Anik's, his commentary is good or bad. You know, I got shit to do. And it's starting to feel like a lot of people, being negative and making these comments and making these negative videos, I'm like, bro, like, just be a little bit more open, a little bit more creative, and stop making the MMA community as a whole toxic, because it's getting to the point where the MMA community is being known for being so negative, for being fucking dumb, and toxic, and it's really getting to the point where it's ridiculous. So, and for the people that do watch this and enjoy this, like, guys, I don't give a shit about all that. I love fighting. I love it. And this is why I might make this content, because I want to make a community where we just love watching fights and we like talking shit. That's it. So if you about that, you belong here, bro. You belong here. And we are going to talk about the toxic shit. We're going to talk about everything you see. We're going to talk about it. But I'm not going to be negative and toxic about it. Like this is last week, I don't like using the word robbery. Sean Strickland could have done enough to win that fight, but he took it to decision in a place like Canada. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Sorry for my little rant there, but yeah, man, it just gets crazy sometimes. So let's talk about UFC 300, Conor McGregor. So Conor McGregor posted something on X, Twitter, whatever, saying like UFC 300 sealed deal. He said something along those lines. He said UFC 300 though, right? And then Nate Diaz posts a picture of him and Conor. And you start to connect the dots. And you're like, oh shit. Are we going to have Conor and Nate Diaz at UFC 300? And then, I don't know where this source came from, but I keep seeing it. So it seems like it's going to happen. It seems like it's a rumor. Dana White he had a, press conference, whatever. He was saying like, man, people are going to lose their minds about UFC 300. Like, we're going to make it special. We're working on a number of things. Like, we don't know who's going to headline, but we have a few fights, blah, blah, blah. Hyping up UFC 300 because these toxic MMA fans, including myself, but I'm not toxic, but I am a fan, are shitting on this card for seeing females on it, which is fucking weird. And he's hyping up the card. And again, Dana White and the UFC have never disappointed, bro. Never. Don't get me wrong. They put some cards that are very questionable, but those cards don't get hype like UFC 300. So, supposed to announce a 165 and a 175 division and getting rid of 170. Conor and Chandler for the 165 title at UFC 300. That's the rumor. Don't know if it's true. But if it's true, Dana White and the UFC have fucking cooked. I will say that. And like I've said a bunch of times, they don't disappoint. And if they pull that shit off, the UFC and Dana White are one of the greatest companies ever fucking done. Just pure entertainment. Pure fucking entertainment, man. And no one's going to say shit about UFC 300 no more. Now, whether it's true or not, who knows? I'm sure they're trying to make it happen. But holy crap if they do. And it'll be fucking exciting to see Conor just have a title fight on a return. Like, yo. And no one's going to get mad, bro. Everyone's going to, hey, I'm here for it, bro. All right, let's fucking go, right? Imagine Conor and Chandler for a title fight at 165 for the new division. Conor becomes champion. Guess who he's calling out? Islam Makhachev. Gives me chills, man. I keep telling you guys, the UFC doesn't fucking disappoint, and they're not. UFC 300 is going to bang. It's going to bang. Super excited. So that's the rumor. But again, also too, Nate Diaz teasing Conor McGregor trilogy, and Conor's always talked about how he wants a trilogy with Nate. So yeah, who knows, man? Who fucking knows? It's exciting, and this is why I love the UFC, right? Because they just put some fucking cards together, and it's crazy. So another thing that's kind of circling around, it seems like Paulo Costa has pulled out. I don't know if it's UFC 298 or 9, but he pulled out against a fight against Robert Whittaker. It's getting to the point where it's getting a little outrageous for Paulo Costa. He's ranked fighter, hasn't really been active. I don't even know who. I don't know the guy's last. The last guy that he fought. I don't know his name. I forgot. But the dude's not active like that, man, and it sucks because he's running out of, not necessarily time, but, you know, not being in the octagon, not having that experience, and not going through all that, you know, camps, things like that. Like, I don't know, man. Like, Paulo Costa looks like he has so much potential to be a really good fighter. And we're just not seeing him living up to that. And it sucks, because I'm like, bro, I want to see you fucking just beat ass, and I want to see you do good because you have potential. And like, I just want to see you win. But the dude's not active, and it sucks, and I want to see him fight. So I really hope that's not true that he's pulled out, but it looks like it's true. So we're just going to have to see, man. And it sucks for Robert, because that was a good fight for him to kind of get back into the conversation as a contender for the title. So that's that. Last thing UFC that I want to talk about is Kamaru Usman. Has been really, really, really quiet. You know, Kamaru Usman, who knows, like, you know, if he's had an injury, or he's just not active, or there's just not a fight lined up for him, or he's just trying to find a way to fight a title shot, or, you know, maybe he's waiting around. I don't know. But I just want to talk about Kamaru Usman, because he's been forgotten a little bit the last few months. I know he fought Khamzat Chimaev, and that was a really close fight. And a lot of people thought Kamaru won, right? So I just want to see Kamaru back. I want to see him fight before like May. I really do. I think he's still championship worthy. Who knows how bad his knees are or not? But if he's, you know, still kind of healthy, I think he could be a champion again. You know, I don't know the divisions now, because I got them mixed up with these new ones that I talked about. But I want to see Kamaru Usman fight, and I just want to see him fighting potentially for a title soon. I think he still has it in him. He's a fucking beast, and he was an amazing champ. And a lot of people, that's another guy that a lot of people were hating on him, and now he's fucking missed as a champion. And that's exactly what's going to happen with Izzy. A lot of people have been talking all this shit about Izzy, but then he's going to be missed, and we're going to end up with Drakus and Sean title fights. You know, I'm not trying to hate on that, but when you look at that title fight versus an Izzy title fight, for the most part, like, Izzy don't fucking disappoint either, right? So I want to see Kamaru back. I really do. And I'm not trying to hate on Leon, but Leon is not the most exciting fighter like Kamaru Usman. So we need Kamaru Usman active and potentially getting himself into a title fight, right? So I just wanted to bring that up because I feel like he's been forgotten a little bit. Last things here, just touch on some boxing stuff. Damn, this episode's going to be real short, guys. So we have Rolly Romero announced a fight with Pitbull Cruz. I think this is funny. And this is what Ryan Garcia gets, right? I think Ryan Garcia has been, man, I was rooting for Ryan. But now, you didn't make the fight happen with Devin. And I said this last time, you're not going to make the fight happen with Rolly. You missed 2 potential mega money fights because of greed. That's why they're not happening. Ryan Garcia wanted more piece of the cake, and they said, bro, you're fucking insane. Who have you beat? What championship, what titles do you have? I get it, you're a pool, Ryan Garcia, but hey, this is still boxing. Who have you beaten? And how many titles do you have? You know, I'm pretty sure Devin let him know what's up. Like, hey, this is your piece of the cake. Rolly said, get the fuck out of my face. This is how it should be. If you don't want it, I'll fight Pitbull Cruz. And now you got Rolly Romero against Pitbull Cruz. And Ryan Garcia is going to fight who? Ryan Garcia had the chance to make 2 mega fights. And he fumbled the bag for being greedy. And this guy talks about how we need to make the fights happen and da-da-da-da-da. Ryan Garcia didn't make them happen, man. So that just goes to show you where Ryan Garcia's mind is at. You know, he has, you know, whether Oscar's behind him or not, whether Mayweather's behind him or not, but he needs to be making better decisions and thinking about his career and try to make the mega fights happen. Because now I don't see him fighting Devin or Rolly this year. I don't see that shit happening. So, and the only one losing in that situation is Ryan, because he needs those fights to get himself more popularity and be in the conversation for title fights for Ryan Garcia. So, just want to speak about that, man, because it's disappointing from Ryan. Lastly, it seems like the terms have been agreed with Bivol and Beterbiev. Bivol beat Canelo, Beterbiev just beat Callum Smith. So if that fight happens, that fight is going to be fucking epic. and I'm super excited, and I really hope it gets officially announced soon. And that's a fight that I would love to see, and I know the boxing fans will love to see. So that's pretty much it for this one, guys. You know, the content, you know, the sport itself in boxing and UFC or MMA has been pretty steady, slow and steady, you know, but once we pick up, content's going to be a little bit better. And I'm going to start watching, you know, Aaliyah and Volk fights already, because I really want to be really prepared, and I have something special for you guys on that episode, and I'm really excited for you guys to see it when it happens. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great week. Peace.